Hold on, I found friends. They're not even doing it right. They're like going the wrong way. Ian, what are you doing?
Oh, what's up, Dak?
What are you doing?
Hold on a second. What are you doing?
The party's over there.
I'm doing my initial like what's going on thing.
All right, well, have fun.
Is it what?
No, I don't know. I just saw everyone start walking off. Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know, but I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, thank you.
We're migrating to the other park across the street. Here we go, boys. Ooh. Are we having fun, guys? Ninja's sprinting. He's funny. He ain't gonna miss shit. He's dedicated. I'm just gonna mosey over.
They found him with grass in his mouth. So, you know, pretty appropriate. And then they proceeded to hang 38 of the Dakota tribe. And during the mass hanging, this is also, by the way, still to this day the largest mass execution in U.S. history. So yeah, largest mass execution in U.S. history. And during the execution, they actually had some of the Dakota tribe was there. Some of the Dakota tribe was there, and during the execution, they took one of the women's babies and killed it during the execution, just for whatever reason. You know, it's fucked up. So, I mean, those are the bullet points right there. It was a horrible massacre and super fucked up, and just one of the many atrocities that has been perpetrated by the U.S. government against indigenous people in this country. So here we're remembering that on the 138th anniversary of that. It was the day after Christmas, and this happened under President Abraham Lincoln too. So this is why, you know, you'll see people upset about President Lincoln, and you might think, oh, well, you know, wasn't he great? Didn't he free the slaves? No. He did stuff like this, just like many and all U.S. presidents at the time. And, I mean, a lot of people say that, you know, freeing the slaves is probably more of a political move than him actually caring too much about what, you know, people's suffering. So, anyway, so we're gonna join the group now, and we're gonna see what's going on.
I like the Red Bull.
We are not a conquered people.
Hey, what's up? Long time no see. How you doing? Yeah. I was like, I don't recognize that streamer. Oh shit, it's LC. How you doing? What's up? All the way from Seattle. What are you doing? Oh well, it's just been more active around here. Oh yeah. And my partner is here too. So. Yeah, good to see you, bro.
I was going to Olympia this morning, but I ended up not being able to ride out there. So I was going. Was it nothing? Yeah. Okay. That's good. I guess. Yeah. So yeah, I was wondering if I'd see you or anybody else coming out there. So luckily, hey. I wanted to get for the spa thing, but then there's also the opportunity to do a second. That's going to take me a while. Yeah, you guys. Alright, well, let me know if you need me.
Sorry,
last night screaming Black Lives Matter, but now they yell me yelling out, "Oh, cops are master!" See my temper is free from all the power is free.
This is Blacktacular, local Portland rapper. I believe this isn't copyrighted, so I think we're good on this. And I'm pretty sure he would give us the rights to have it in our videos too. So this music is actually pretty safe for us. Is it possible for maybe my mods to... There was a really good Twitter article that explained it, or actually if you can find a more comprehensive one for people to read, and we could keep posting that. I'll keep trying to go back over what would, like the story of what happened, but I can't just keep doing it every 5 minutes. So mods, if you get to care of that, that'd be awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah, Blacktacular's a really cool guy. He's been at a lot of the events. Yeah, and he's a super talented DJ. There's a big crowd, yes.
Hey Victor, what do you know about fire?
Check this out.
Sorry. So right now I believe that they're still getting set up. We'll probably see some speakers. Did I miss any speakers or anything? No? Okay, cool. So we haven't missed any speakers or anything like that. So I was a little afraid because I thought I was going to be super late, but it turns out not. We're just gonna have to be patient and see what's going on. We don't actually figure out what's going on too much before these events. I specifically try not to ask too many questions and just learn along the way with everybody else. You know, plausible deniability is always good. Yeah. People think that I was reading this Reddit thread recently, and people think that we get information about like DA's targets and locations, and we really don't. We don't. When we start marching with DAs, we don't know what's gonna get hit. We don't know where it's gonna go. Like nothing, you know. So generally, most of us try not to even ask questions like that.
Hey, can I have a moderator make Zippy a VIP, please? Superman is the best I did, man.
This land was stolen. That's why I jump on this mic like it's golden. I'm golden, and your flow is trashy. To the man who stole my antidepressants, I hope you're happy. So come and get your love like Redbone. I'm lit when I spit, you better smudge your headphones. They fucking the balls like when they stuck in the dead zone. But this ain't death, I'm repping it nice. Call me the judge, cause you been sentenced to life. See you messing with a rest.
Good, how are you?
Game of bowling cause we knocking down rednecks. Now I'm making fun, maybe the racist one. Come on, put away the guns and stop the hate.
How are you doing?
I ain't trying to beat the house to shots. I got no beef, man. Impossible. Come on. Every day it's indigenous. People say we stay resilient. Every day it's indigenous.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk around to the side. Do you wanna come with me? I'm gonna see if I can get to in front of this. Hey, man.
We stay resilient, until we get that land back. Every day is indigenous. People say we stay resilient, until we get that land back.
Habitar.
time, bro. I went Indian time. That's better. I'm not Indian time. Indian time. They're here. They just got there. They got the big old feather. Get down.
We are the tribe that they cannot see. We live on an industrial reservation. We are the Halusa Nation. We have been called the Indians. We have been called Native American. We have been called hostile. We have been called pagan. We have been called militant. We have been called many names. We are the Halusa Nation. We are Halusa Nation. We are human beings. The callers of names cannot see us, but we can see them. We are Halusa Nation. Our DNA is earth and sky. Our DNA is our past and future. We are the Halusa Nation. We are the evolution,
If that goes.
They call it a pipe. Those on the front lines know that black snake was sent across the road to shed the skin of our ancestors' gray. So we may unite, unity our truth. No weapons are found in this world. Bending the lines, steadfast in the wrong, protecting women's hearts as their song becomes. I really hope that's the cast of beauty, all sentient beings, to honor sacred mother, our forward we feel. The salmon will run, the mountain will breathe, the rivers will flow. The rainbow is here, prophecy tells us. All generations will hear.
I'm sure if it is something close about it.
Yeah, they
legally hunt. So the U.S. government, as they do, took the agreement and omitted an article from the treaty and didn't tell the Dakota tribe about it. They just decided not to, and so the federal agent that was in charge of, doling out rations to the Dakota said, and this is a public record, he said they can eat grass and their own dung, so their own shit, which is fucked up, So when the Dakota finally rose up and said, we won't take this anymore, he was one of the first to get killed, that agent, and they found. This is just an interesting point that I thought was pretty interesting, that they found grass in his mouth. So it was definitely a message, like, okay, what you said was fucked, and what has happened here is fucked. So inevitably, they were overpowered and publicly hung. This is, by the way, I forgot to say this time, but this was the largest public mass execution in U.S. history, and still is to this day. During the execution, when they were hanging the 38 Dakota, they reportedly grabbed a baby out of a Native woman's arms and killed the baby too. Just for whatever, for evil purposes, whatever the fuck they do. But so that's the story in a nutshell. And once again, it's just one of those things that has happened throughout our country's history. I'll be honest, I wasn't well versed in this tragedy before a couple of days ago, before I knew this was coming up, and I started doing research, and it's really sad, I'm sure a lot of people in the chat, you haven't heard of it, and that's okay, we're all learning, but it's important, I think, to, remember these things, even though, as someone in the chat said, some asshole said, oh, it didn't happen in your lifetime, why do you care? Because history is how we learn. It's important to remember the things that happen in your country's history, that history books like to just gloss over and outright, hide from, because nobody wants to talk about it. They don't want to talk about the bad things. They want to talk about the good things in history books, right? They want to talk about the Revolutionary War and look how we fought for our independence, but it's important to remember that wasn't everyone's independence, and that came at the cost of a lot of people that were already here. And, anyway, so I think that's a pretty succinct summary. Bigfoot Eddie, I will look wherever I want. Things out here, you have to be, you have to keep your eyes out, What happens to violent extremists who target journalists and suppress the truth? Hopefully they don't succeed in that. I don't know. Hey, Denny. Talking. What happens to violent extremists who target journalists and suppress the truth?
What happens to them?
What happens to them? I don't know. I can tell you what happens to them if they come at me. But I won't go into that. Watching YouTube on Roku TV, cool.
Hi, Grandma Jen.
Hey, Granny Jen. Hey, actual grandma. Just showing how what's happening. I just went through a whole summary. I'm sorry. I'll do it again in a little bit. But hopefully we'll get some speakers soon, and we might be able to hear it from some people, that maybe have generational experience in this kind of thing. So we'll see. Hey, Krista.
Hey.
How's it going?
How are you guys?
Good. We got Ninja Rosa, Dacus here. We got a Seattle streamer here too. Elsie.
We're going to do my check real quick. Can everybody hear me okay? Thank you. So my name is Angela, also known as Hilkiah, in the Warm Springs tribe. We're here to honor the Dakota 38. I'm a little frazzled because I had a whole speech written on my phone and then I forgot it at home. So, bear with me. Sorry, guys. And also, it's okay. Love you. Thank you. We're going to do the land acknowledgement right after I speak, and I'm just kind of giving you guys a rundown of what we're going to do. We also have some drummers here, so I'm definitely excited that the drummers are here and we'll be hearing some songs. And then we also have some prayer songs from my tribe, which is the Warm Springs tribe. These songs are from time immemorial. So basically, my mom said that means basically the beginning of time. So I'm excited to share those with you, and then also the translations of the songs that we'll be sharing with you guys tonight. Right here in front of me is a feather. I was actually really frustrated because I thought it looked like a leaf, and I tried really hard to make it look like a feather. So now you all know it's a feather, and it has the names of all the Dakota 38 that were hung. If you don't already know, the Dakota 38 was the largest mass hanging in U.S. history, and it was done by Abraham Lincoln, and that is why we're here at the place where the Abraham Lincoln statue used to stand. And we are going to take back this area, and it will now be known as the Dakota 38 Memorial.
I actually have my hands through the clock.
We need to hear some drums. So thank you guys for hanging out a little bit longer, and pretty soon we're going to do the land acknowledgement, probably about 10 minutes, and then we'll also hear a prayer song, and I'll do the translation for you just after that.
The other day I was just sitting around talking to some homies about how I feel. How people think losing self-love. Anyway, medicine. That's what I know.
This is in Portland, Oregon.
The Americans were moved to Minnesota, but there was no that land. There was a lot of racism yeah, so the one that they was not too
Up until like 11:30, and then I got the report of that officer involved shooting, and then I went to there after.
So what happened? I kind of heard about it.
I guess somebody, they came in for a call of a stolen vehicle, and then they like cornered the vehicle, and then they like hit an officer on the way out, and then gunshot for exchange. Yeah.
So was the officer that shot hurt?
I don't know at this point, unfortunately. Looks good. Love that. Hey, sorry. Did you said you're gonna stay like more days or no? Have you decided yet?
Oh, I haven't decided yet. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to just keep an eye on the prices and see what they look like. But yeah, I'm not sure yet. Got an abattoir in my chat though.
Hello.
Don't have to use.
Oh, Danny, Rosa got a surui. One of these.
Yeah.
Not now, but ordered it last night. Right?
Yeah, I'm
the cheapo one though, right? The aluminum one, not the carbon fiber.
Man,
They'll probably be fine. As long as you're not using it to block police batons like Hiram does, then you'll probably be fine.
Probably. Aluminum will take a baton. It'll get dented, but it'll stop the baton. It just won't like extend after that. It'll be all. Thanks, Dave. Oh, okay. When the streamers are hanging out together, it's funny because we'll be talking to our chat. We're like, what? What's up? That's funny, Carly. So since Ian's not sure what he's gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and like get my pod set up when I get home. Probably tomorrow. So I just got my final check from my last job.
완전히 혈액통에 처박았지 않습니까? 이제 그들을 막을 수 있는 힘은 국민의 힘이라는 용기 없고 비굴하고 권력에 불통하는 그러한 세력들이 아닙니다. 이제는 헌법에 보장된 국민들이 들고 일어나서 국민저항군을 발동해서 문제. 지금 연설하시는 분은 대한민국 자유민주주의 정신 조원님의 연설입니다. 문제 1. 이 문재인 정권 그 끝이 얼마 남지 않았습니다. 그날의 마지막 바람을 우리는 보고 있는 거예요. 이제 우리는 그들에게 준엄하게 얘기해야 됩니다. 너희들의 끝이 얼마 남지 않았다. 이제 너희들도 박근혜 대통령이 그렇게 힘들게 침묵해가는 이유를 이제는 너희들이 알 수 있다는 그러한 모습들을 우리는 분명히 보여야 합니다. 동지 여러분, 국민 여러분께서 많이 힘들어하세요. 최강력 자랑하다가 다 죽었습니다.
지금 문양서명대 문양역에 도착을 했습니다. 대구역 방송은 대구 방송 차량은 문양역 주차장에 조원진 대표님의 연설을 문양역 국민들에게 들려드리고 방송은 대구 방송은 서명들을 향하여 가고 있습니다. 저거 방송 틀어놓을까 끌까? 저 틀어놓을까 끌까? 저 방송 틀어놓을까 끌까? 방송
틀어놔도 안 되겠나?
네, 상관없어. 유림 TV님. 팬 했어요? 10명을 받았었다. 책임당원. 10명 받았다. 열. 이성훈 최고님 안 계세요?
식사.
식사.
소감이.
네?
Now, I had a better land acknowledgement written, but unfortunately, it still is acknowledgement now. I had a better land acknowledgement written, but unfortunately, it still is just important to know the land that we're on, even if I have to read it. So Multnomah County rests on traditional village sites of the Multnomah, Clackamas, bands of Chinook, Tualatin, Kalyapua, Malala, and many other tribes who made their homes along the Columbia River. So a little background on that, because I actually have this in my head. The Chinook bands are actually a lot of different tribes here that were established or that are recognized by the state. You actually have to be a recognized tribe, you actually have to sign up with the state to be formally recognized. And so the Chinook is actually spread out between a lot of those different tribes. I'm sorry I can't tell you which tribes exactly, but most of the tribes in Oregon most likely are Chinook tribal people. So it's actually a very spread out people. And so that is the land that we're on. That is the land we want back. And I keep trying to get her to speak, but she doesn't want to. So what she was saying was because the tribes were all married, basically, intermarried, that is why we all basically became known as the Chinook people. So again, thank you guys for being here, and just a little information. Usually after a prayer song or a prayer, traditionally we raise one hand and we go, I, and that's the end of the signifying, it's kind of like amen. That's the end of a traditional prayer song. So if you hear someone do that or see someone do that, that's traditionally the end of a prayer or the end of a prayer song. So I.
sorry guys, I forgot. If you could please turn off your streams for this part. This is actually extremely sacred. And then after the prayer song, you are allowed to turn
서명도 점화할 수 있어. 서명 박근 대통령 구출 서명할 수 있어. 절대로 부러워할 것 없고 눈치 보지도 말 수 있어. 나라고 하는데 눈치가 필요 없습니다. 우리는 목숨 던져야 된다. 나라고 하면 젊은이들이 자기 손녀들 생각하면 나한테 몸을 던져야지. 자, 서명들하고 같은 서명. 우리 좀 되면. 자, 정선하고 오신 분들 서명 좀 하고 가세요. 서명. 박근혜 대통령 구출 문재인 주진 이루고 대한민국 살립시다. 이제 서명 좀 하세요. 서명. 눈치 보지들 마세요. 눈치 전부 다. 뭐가 그리 부럽습니까 전부 다. 나라고 하는데. 눈치 볼 거 없습니다. 나라고 하는데 눈치 보면 나라 못 구합니다.
윤미향을 구속하라.
오종경 행령 사기꾼 윤미향을 구속하라.
김경수를 구속하라.
댓글 조작 여러 선수 김경수를 구속하라. 독불난도 사기탄에 대통령을 석방하라. 정치보고 인권유리 대통령을
등불님 알겠습니다. 등불님 크리스마스 연설을 찾고 있습니다.
정대천사 안보파탄 문재인을 끌어낸다. 흑색도 황제가 문재인을 구속하라. 도둑을 구속하라. 오종금 행령 사기꾼 윤미향을 구속하라. 댓글 조작 여러 수조 김경수를 구속하라. 독불난도 사기탄에 대통령을 석방하라. 정치보고 인권유리 대통령을 석방하라. 정대천사 안보파탄 문재인을 끌어내자. 한국정파 독재정권 문재인을 끌어내자. 흑색도 박계주가 문재인을 구속하라. 김민희 수잡이 도둑을 구속하라. 오종금 행령 사기꾼 윤미향을 구속하라. 댓글 조작 여러 선수 김경수를 구속하라. 독불난도 사기탄에 대통령을 석방하라.
등불님 수보째 후원 감사드립니다. 지금 조금 있다가 크리스마스 대표님 연설을 들려드리겠습니다. 준비 중입니다. 준비 중.
안보파탄 문재인을 끌어내자. 신복자파 독재정권 문재인을 끌어내자.
Oh, fuck. That's it. Oh, fucking beam. I don't know if that paused the stream. I hope it didn't. Not that it fucking matters. Oh, this was definitely an EMBD night. I'm struggling. It's a whole struggle. There we go. Now we got it.
언제 시끄러워 죽겠다. 동네가 왔다. 사기탄에 대통령을 석방하라. 인권유리 대통령을 석방하라.
참사, 반복 판단, 문재인을 끌어내자. 신속자파, 독재정권, 문재인을 끌어내자. 국회에서 박재주가 수미애를 구속하라. 이기빈이 부자들이 조국을 구속하라. 오조금 횡령, 사기꾼, 윤미향을 구속하라. 댓글조작, 여론조작, 김경수를 구속하라. 사기꾼의 대통령을 석방하라. 정치보고 인권주의 대통령을 석방하라. 정계참사, 방법판단, 문재인을 끌어내자. 신속자파, 독재정권, 문재인을 끌어내자.
죽기 전에 나라 그에 놓고 주는 시대에
이기빈이 부자들이 조국을 구속하라. 오조금 횡령, 사기꾼, 윤미향을 구속하라. 댓글조작, 여론조작, 김경수를.
I don't know where we're standing here. Oh, look at this. I meant to show you this earlier. This is from the Cal Day. But these are the people that like ended up reporting the account. Or reported the account? Hold up, there's like lynch mob. There's a lot of really like fucked up names. There's like a fuck N-word with a hard R, 99. There's all kinds of people that followed me that day. Yeah. Nothing but chuds.
자, 이제 서명 좀 하고 가시죠. 서명. 죄 없는 대통령, 박근혜 대통령 거치라고로 인생들 버리고 가셔야 됩니다. 죽기 전에 좋아하는 걸 넘기시면 됩니다. 그냥 우리 아빠는 왜 죽는 거 있겠느냐. 자, 서명 좀 하고 가세요. 박근혜 대통령 거치라 있습니다. 죄 없는 대통령.
야,
문재인이 뭘죠? 문재인이 하는 거 가지. 나라 잘했지도 나라.
날마다 오는 게 아닙니다.
아니 가만히 계시면 가만히 계세요. 앞으로 써야 돼.
오케이. 우리 선생님 아저씨 훈련하셔. 우리 박근혜 대통령님 빨리 나오시게.
오늘 정령도 하나 이거 받으라고. 앞으로 이것도 한달 적어주세요. 문재인이 어디서 나라 바꾸는 생각 안 나십니까? 하나 상 적어주세요.
Oh, really? Is it really?
What I remember is like listening to the different directions, north, south, east, and west, kind of like this via. I remember us like smoke. I've seen they use like a certain people will hit it, smoke it in the corner.
No.
But I think this might just be straight up Meridian. It's all different.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on.
Back.
Take tobacco and you put it on as an offering. You take some tobacco and you put it down. Seems to be a pretty decent sized pile now, and then they light it.
One thing that I learned was that it's the 38 plus 2. At the very bottom of that leaf, you see how there's the two names at the very bottom. So I just learned this thanks to somebody in the chaplain queue, by the way. But these were two chiefs that fled north and actually escaped, and then they were found and executed shortly after.
This was after Lincoln was assassinated, and I believe it was it Hamilton or was it Johnson? I can't remember. I'm sorry. But the next president found them, and not personally, but they found them and then had them assassinated, executed for bounties. I think it was bounties. Yeah. So that's the +2 there, in case you were wondering about that. 38 +2, yes. Johnson, yes. Yeah, thank you, Andrew Johnson.
Other than that, shit. No, the potatoes plus the mac, plus the mac.
Yes, also though, sure.
머리에 덮어 쓰라해도 찔린 것도 많습니다 지금.
어머니 서명 하나 해주세요.
서명하고 가세요.
어머니 자전거 요 세우시면 됩니다. 제가 잡아드릴게요 어머니. 우리 박근혜 대통령 나오셔야지 어머니 요랑하고 제가 요 잡아드릴게요.
젊은이들 나야 됩니다. 이 나라 젊은이들 딴데 한대 없나? 없어요. 이렇게 없어. 김치제하고 김치제 30개, 30개, 60개. 김치제는 아재라고 나는 광고제 서명 안 해주고 갔어요. 아, 예. 서명들 안 해주고 갔어요.
어머니 사인해 주시고요. 예, 감사합니다 어머니. 건강하세요.
근데 이제 월요일날 일단 이거는 중요한 거 아니야?
The person's belongings, and it's a way of healing. Talking about that and opening up that wound is very important for healing for us. And so this is why we're talking about this. This is what we do for healing. We have to talk about it. We can't just hide it. We can't just be afraid of it or ashamed of it. We have to talk about it. Once we talk about it, then we can actually start to heal. Again, I'm reading from someone else's phone, sorry. So Thank you. I love you guys too. So I'm just going to read basically what happened at the hanging for the Dakota 38 if you don't already have the history. And I'm probably going to throw in a couple things that I had written down before because I don't have my phone that I remember from my head. So like I said before, the Dakota 38 execution was the largest mass execution in the United States. It took place on December 26, 1862. So this is the 158th anniversary tonight.
Listen up, guys. Listen up.
On the day after Christmas, 38 Dakota men were hanged under the order of President Abraham Lincoln. The hangings and convictions of the Dakota 38 resulted from the aftermath of the U.S.-Dakota War of 1862 in southwest Minnesota. Basically what happened, from the top of my head, is that there were treaties, broken treaties. Surprise, surprise, right? There were treaties with the Dakota that they would get certain land, certain food, that they wouldn't be starved to death, and that didn't happen. The treaty was broken. They basically told them to eat scraps. They wanted them to starve. They wanted their children to starve. So that's what started the Dakota War, was that they told them that they were not important enough to feed them and that the treaty wasn't important enough to adhere to. So it started with a broken treaty. There was 37 days of fighting. Originally, there was 303 Dakota that were sentenced to death. And the only reason they weren't, honestly, they weren't all hanged was just pure luck, in my opinion, because all the other 38 were not granted a fair trial. They couldn't speak English. They honestly had no idea. They weren't given a day in court. They had no clue of what was happening, which is pretty common, I think, as far as colonization goes. We really had no clue. We didn't speak the language. Only a few people spoke the language, and the people that did speak the language weren't always for our people. So basically, 38 were hanged, and plus 2 that were hanged afterwards. They were told on December 23rd or 22nd that they were being hanged, so they were given 2 days to basically cope with what they were told. They spent those 2 days praying and singing prayer songs with all the people. After that, they were marched to the hanging, and there was about 400 citizens that threw rocks, severely injured the prisoners and the guards. A woman's child was taken out of her arms and severely beaten to death. A baby. And then after that, after the hanging, their people were marched. I say our people because we're all brothers and sisters, but they were marched and herded like cattle to a different reservation where they weren't even from. I feel like I'm forgetting things. I'm sorry, guys. They also had, included in the hanging, they had actual settlers that were adopted into the tribe that were also hung with the tribal members, which is something that's not well known. And then after they were hung and murdered, they were hung there for about a half an hour. Their bodies were cut down and they were put into a shallow grave. And most of the bodies didn't even make it till morning. Most of the bodies were dug up and used as cadavers for medical reasons. So it was an extreme injustice. I highly doubt that would have happened to any colonizers, that their graves, that they would have been tossed in mass graves like that, or their graves get dug up like that. But that's the history. That's why we're here. They do a Dakota ride, a Dakota warrior ride on horseback every year to honor the Dakota 38. And it would be great if we could start that here. We don't have horses, but we're going to honor the Dakota 38 here as well. So thank you all for being here, and I have another speaker coming up for you.
Oh, my knees are. Thank you.
Okay, so she gave you a basic history lesson, and that's originally what I was going to do when they asked me to speak. I was going to speak about how when Lincoln signed the Emancipation, he also signed the execution of 38 Dakota men. 2 more were hung later. I was going to tell you about the broken Minnesota treaties. I was going to tell you about how the traders would not trade with indigenous people or give them credit. I was going to tell you about how they weren't allowed to hunt beyond a 10-mile tract of land, how the Dakota people starved, how as a result the Dakota people fought back, and this was known as the Sioux Uprising, how one nasty trader named Andrew is known to have said, if they're hungry, let them eat grass, and how when his body was discovered, it was found with his mouth stuffed with grass. I was going to tell you about how more than 1,000 people were sent to prison, and 38 Dakota men were hung, and 2 more were hung later. I was going to tell you how every year the Dakota 38 plus 2 riders travel over 325 miles on horseback for 18 days as the memorial. But this year they can't do it due to COVID. I was going to tell you all that, but I said, fuck it. I'm going to tell you guys that today I'm here not to put on a fucking show. You're not entitled to my emotional labor. You're not entitled to me educating you. You need to do your own research. It's not that hard to find out. I mean, you guys were able to sit there and not know. Everybody was so upset about it. Lincoln came down, but not know about the 38. Plus, too, this is sickening. The day that this statue fell, a couple of us were hooting and yelling and dancing around it, and somebody actually had the nerve to come up to me and tell me I could take a picture. Best believe I checked you real quick, whoever you are, if you are here. I checked you real quick. You don't come up to a Dakota woman and tell me I can't take a picture of something that meant a lot to my ancestors. And I'm also going to tell you that today I'm honoring both sides of who I am. I'm honoring my ancestors who have been the stewards of these lands since time immemorial, and my other ancestors who were stolen from their ancestral land and built this fucking country. So the next time I hear somebody say, go back to where you came from, no, we built this, we cared for it, you're the one that needs to go back where you came from.
Yeah.
And guess what? This time, we'll give you a GPS so you don't get lost and discovered by
Mexicans are indigenous. Mexicans are
Oh,
indigenous. Yes.
Oh, and this is and always will be Turtle Island.
Right.
So that feeling that you have at times when you're angry, you're upset, that goes generations back when we had to fight for our women and our children, our elders.
Elsie here from Seattle. Always a pleasure to see you. Always. Elsie Levy, if anybody wants to go, you know.
It's the Streamception.
Streamception.
Why we always gotta do this,
Yeah,
man?
I know, right?
It's my first one.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen you up in Portland. I know you've been here before, but I think this is the first time I've seen you in Portland.
I'm here
yeah.
all the time. I feel
Yeah.
like I've seen you all the time, but I'm always running around.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, for sure. we ran into each other in DC. That was
true.
that, and then of course
you all over the
and then
place.
Seattle. Yeah, right. For the first time in Portland, so weird. Oh, you're all good.
Where our cheeks blend, where the water tastes like lead, where we deal with these alcoholics and meth heads, fed lies from the school system, misinterpret Thanksgiving, teach history like it's fiction, what's written in.
So Elsie will also be there for the inauguration on January 20th, so make sure you follow them. Okay, Sarah wants a cookie, wanted me to tell you that you're cute. There you go. Yeah, I don't have to give you your fucking points back because I said it. There you go. You know them, right?
I do.
Yeah, yeah. They're all over all of our streams. There you go. You happy, Sarah? I hope so. Because I have like on Twitch at a channel point where but it's supposed to be like I have to find a random person to call with them, but they redeemed it and they was like, I want you to tell my confidence. I'm like, all right, there you go. And then when it was too busy for me to come over to you, they were like, I want my points back. My refund. Okay. Sorry, hot, not cute, hot. My bad. There you go, Sarah, hot. So funny. Oh, is it? Oh, no way. Cool. Very cool. I didn't know that. That's so cute.
Don't encourage it.
That makes a lot more sense. Cool. I really love Portland. It's not to say that I don't like Seattle. It's just I know that people probably think that I'm like abandoning Seattle, but it's just like there's like a lot going on here, and it's just like there's just like kind of feeling that I want to explore up here. That's like.
To be honest, I've been thinking very much the same way.
You know what I mean?
It's really like it's slowed almost to a halt, a complete halt in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's a little maddening.
I know that there's some drama going on too, so
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice when you go back and forth because like you don't want to focus on that drama. Because it's not the point of any of this, you know. But people always want to. So when I go back and forth, I get to go away from the drama and like focus on the city. It's always really nice. I think.
I think I'm gonna have to start taking a cue from Ian.
Yeah, when things get really dramatic and you know the point starts getting lost, just go to a different city. That's what I think.
Pretty much. Protest somewhere else.
Yeah. Here we go. Are we coming back in here?
I don't know if I'm marching. Do you know if I'm marching today?
I'm not sure.
Okay, there we go. So, we need to get a free man who's, a man who's been behind bars for 40 years who's innocent. So I need to pull out your phone, open up Twitter, tag the giant Cheeto and you know what I'm talking about, and tell him to free Leonard Peltier. Yeah! Not only will he piss off the FBI, but it'll free Leonard Peltier. That's all I want to say.